And hello and welcome to the Jess Strom Show for February 9th, 2016. I'm your host, Gary Smith, and we have a great show planned for everyone at home today. We are going to talk to Coach Jess Strom in just a little bit about a big week last week, 2 wins in Western Pennsylvania basketball. We're also going to look at the standings and some highlights from last week's game against UPJ. But first, we're going to spend a few minutes talking with PSAC West Freshman of the Week, Emily Suckling. Emily, welcome to the Jess Strom Show. Welcome to California.
Thank you.
As I mentioned, you're the PSAC West Freshman of the Week. We'll get to all the basketball stuff in a little bit, but I'm sure people at home always like to hear how our players get to California, and you're not exactly from just down the road. If you want to tell the people at home where you're from and how you found California University to play basketball.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Cheltenham, Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. I got sent an email from the coaches, so they've probably seen some footage of me and highlights and stuff on YouTube and through other various things. And they just sent me some emails and I contacted them back and forth we went and I ended up over here.
And how big of an adjustment was that coming from Australia to the United States? Had you ever been over to the States before or travel, or is this first big adventure?
Yeah, I'd been over here a couple of times through family and basketball before, so it wasn't that hard to adjust, but it also is at the same time because obviously homesickness and definitely very far away, like it's 30 hours by travel, so it's definitely a distance to get here. But I think I've definitely adjusted well now.
And how about the weather? Because I know this time of year is summer for everybody.
Yeah.
And of course, we wake up this morning, there's 3 or 4 inches of snow with more on the way. Has that been an adjustment? Because it's probably been winter for about 12 months for you now.
Yeah, it's definitely been an adjustment because I've never seen snow before. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was definitely, the first time I saw it was definitely an adjustment and trying to get used to it and stuff. But it's cool at the same time, new experience.
What did you think of the big storm we had a couple weeks ago? Because that was actually an abnormal snow. We had about 18 inches.
It was kind of scary because my parents were over at that time, so I was with them at the hotel and we sort of got snowed in. So trying to get from the hotel to here was an interesting adventure, considering that none of us had seen snow or been in it before. So trying to get through it and my dad driving was definitely an adventure, but it's all right.
And everybody made it to the game, and excellent. That's
yeah.
Because I've been driving in snow all my life, and it's even getting here this morning was kind of a adventure. So I can imagine what it was like never seeing it before. Back home, what was it like when you told your friends and family you were coming to California, and how long did it take you to explain where California was? It wasn't LA, it was Western Pennsylvania.
All my friends and family were very excited for me. They were also very sad at the same time, I guess, because obviously I'm away for 10 months at a time, maybe more. So they were very sad and stuff, but altogether very happy and excited for me to come over for this adventure because I'd been working for it for so long and wanted it for so long. So yeah, but yeah.
What's it been like as a freshman? I mean, obviously coming from Australia to the United States is a big adjustment, but also playing college basketball for your first year has got to be a huge adjustment from moving up a level in competition. What has it been like for you as a player on the basketball side, making the adjustment to a higher level of competition?
It hasn't been that bad because previous season back home I played against some professional people from back home from the WNBL. So in terms of that, it's not that bad, but I guess definitely the speed and physicality and athleticism of the girls here has been a bigger change and difference for me. So that's probably the biggest aspect that I have noticed. But overall, I feel the first couple of months I definitely was trying to find my feet and didn't know, I was a bit confused and stuff and trying to get used to it and stuff. But now I think I'm a bit more comfortable and I can go on the court and do what I need to do.
And how would you describe your game to people that may not have seen you play before, or how would you describe yourself?
I'm definitely small, but I guess I'm a shooter. That's always been my thing. So I can shoot deep, but I can also attack the basket if I need to. But I can also run the floor at times. And so I guess I'm fast, three-point shooter with a quick release.
One of those pesky guards that coach likes to recruit and stick on the opposition. And last week, as we mentioned at the top of the show, Emily was named the PSAC West Freshman of the Week. It was a great week. Can you describe going into the week, both games, both at home. Did you feel anything going into the games different, or is it just a matter of, 2 games back to back being in the zone?
I guess it's both being in the zone, but also I think I felt a lot more comfortable after some previous better games, both shooting-wise and just getting on the floor and getting that time opportunity. So I think that definitely helped. But I think the coaches give me a lot of confidence, and they know that I'm hard on myself and things like that, but they have the confidence in me to play, and they know that I can make shots and that I will eventually. So I think it's definitely the confidence that they have showed in me has helped a lot.
Well, it's been great to see you from the beginning of the year to now. You definitely tell you're starting to get more comfortable. And we can stop talking about basketball for a minute, because the other part of the show is just for the players to express themselves, and so the fans can know a little bit more about you. What is your major here at California?
My major is sport management.
Okay. Any concentration or?
Not at this stage.
Okay. Well, you're still a freshman, so
Yeah.
I mean, it's no one really knows that at the beginning of their freshman year. What coming from Australia to here? The thing I always like to ask. We've had other players from Australia, and I enjoy eating. Can't really tell because of the way I had our camera positioned today. But what are some of your favorite foods, or has there been any adjustment on the food side? Anything that you've tried that you liked, or anything that maybe you're like, I don't know what they're talking about. Why?
I do struggle here with food. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of it. So that's been a big change. It's very hard for me to find food that I do like, but when I do, I try to stick to it.
What would be your favorite, if you were back home in the summer right now, because it's summer down there, what would be your go-to favorite food?
Definitely like a salad with steak, or just something along that side with the veggies and a bit more of the greenery.
Okay, and I'm sure you've probably gone out and have seen a Pittsburgh steak salad with the French fries. What was your reaction to that? Because I know a lot of people the first time they're like, why are they putting French fries on a salad?
That's very strange to me.
Okay.
I got it once and I was like, why is there French fries on my salad? I found that very weird, and I just put them to the side.
Okay, that's normal. I mean, that I've seen a lot of people do that, so I always like asking that. What type of movies or TV shows do you like? Comedies, dramas?
Probably.
Do you get to even watch TV? I know the practice schedule in classes is pretty tough.
Yeah, on the weekends we normally do, and sometimes at evenings if I've completed all the homework and stuff. But probably comedies and a bit of true stories are my favourite things to watch.
Okay. Now I know Coach has to give you a day off every once in a while. What do you like to do on a day off?
Well, obviously being a student athlete, I have to complete my homework, so that's fortunately have to do that. But also just relax, watch some TV, not really do much.
Excellent. That's what I like to do on my day off as well,
Yeah.
except the homework part. I don't have to do that anymore, which is great. But Emily, thanks for joining us this week.
you.
See, it wasn't that bad. I told you it wasn't going to be bad. Anything you'd like to add to the fans as we're coming down the stretch run?
Just keep watching us, and yeah.
Excellent. Well, thanks again, Emily. And when we return, we'll have head coach Jess Strom on the Jess Strom Show. We'll be back after these messages right here on CUTV.
With CalU's 6 on-campus residence halls and Vulcan Village's garden-style apartment complex, University Housing offers the very best value in service, convenience, privacy, and security. On-campus students will have easy access to classrooms, the newly renovated Natali Student Center, and a variety of activities across campus. University Housing Properties includes all utilities. Other common amenities to all properties are fully furnished rooms, high-def cable TV, high-speed Wi-Fi access, and live-in professional staff. Vulcan Village also includes a full kitchen and laundry room. The property has a 24/7 fitness center, convenient shuttle service, and an outdoor seasonal saltwater pool. Model rooms and tours are available. Stop in the University Housing Office or contact us by phone or email to learn more.
Since 1937, the Student Association Incorporated, known as SAI, has served the CalU student body by providing activities, programs, and services. Every enrolled student has the ability to take part in over 125 different clubs and organizations. Managing participation in every SAI activity is easy with OrgSync, a powerful tool for staying connected. Located 1 mile from campus, the SAI Farm has 94 acres of meeting and recreational space. SAI, it's your student association. For almost 30 years, CUTV has been the campus and community home for local news, sports, and entertainment. Broadcast in 100,000 homes in southwestern Pennsylvania, CUTV provides complete coverage of Vulcan sports as well as high school football coverage. Broadcast weekly live, CUTV News Center provides coverage of local and campus events, weekend weather, sports highlights, and feature stories. For more information on CUTV, check us out on the web, friend us on Facebook, or follow us on Twitter.
And welcome back to the Jess Strom Show. Once again, I'm your host, Gary Smith, and I'm joined, as I am every Tuesday, by head coach Jess Strom. And Jess, we just were able to spend a few minutes with one of your freshman of the week in the PSAC. Excellent player, and it's been great, as I told her on the set, and she's standing over there. It's great to watch her development from the beginning of the year to now, and I'm sure as a coach that's tenfold.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's funny when freshmen come in, there's a learning curve, especially I think for us because we play a little differently than most people. But Em's doing a great job of learning, and you know, we say freshmen aren't freshmen anymore after January. So, you know, she's stepped up pretty big for us in some big games, not just this past week, but you know, I think since the break.
And a lot of times you see freshmen at this time of the year kind of wearing down because, I mean, obviously the college season is a lot longer and a lot more grueling than the high school season or whatever level before, and it seems like she's, you know, getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different with international kids. They seem to never really get tired. I don't know what it is, but I think they play year-round, and I think they're kind of used to it. So I'm not really worried about her conditioning level at all. Like you said, we've had internationals in the past, and they really never wear down. I mean, knock on wood, but she's been pretty durable.
And it seems like every year we have another player from Australia. It just seems like it's a great lineage that California basketball's had for probably about the past decade.
Yeah, I mean, it's done us well, so we'll stick with it.
And last week, when she was named Player of the Week, your team, another great week, 2 wins. The first of which we have highlights for was last week's game against UPJ. It was a return game from a game in November in which Pitt Johnstown gave a little bit of a scare. Game went down to the wire with Mickey Glenn hitting a buzzer beater. What was different between this game a week ago and the game in November?
Yeah, you know, and I think last week on the show we talked about it a little bit. Hopefully, I think our defense has gotten a little bit better. So it went from a last-second shot to, you know, a 20-point win, whatever the final score was. But I think we're finally clicking a little bit defensively. I know, obviously, these clips are going to be a lot of offense.
There are 2. I even made sure there are 2 defensive highlights in here that lead to points because that's what whenever your team is rolling, it seems like the defense feeds into the offense. It's beautiful to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Last week was a good week for us, too. We caused over 20 turnovers in both games and scored a whole bunch of points off of those turnovers. So, you know, that's the goal every game for us, and I think we're finally getting closer to that, you know, turning teams over and then scoring in transition.
And very easily we see Mickey Glenn going to the hole. Usually could have had the freshman of the week and the player of the week in the PSAC last couple weeks, basically.
Yeah, don't get me started on that.
Yeah, well,
I'm going to write a letter to the PSAC because there's no way Mickey Glenn shouldn't have been player of the week. 11 assists, 2 games in a row. You know, I don't think you really can beat that.
No, especially with teams that are winning and winning how your team is winning. But I mean, you see this game. This is a team effort. Here's the defense, strip steal, and then just nice transition offense.
Yeah, and you know, that's the easy way to score. That's what we want to do. A lot of teams pack it in on us defensively and dare us to shoot. I hear him back there.
Yeah, that everybody in the arena went nuts whenever she broke the girl's ankle last week.
Yeah, our team went nuts in film watching it the next day too. So, but you know, it's hard to pack in when Paige is hitting some shots and when Emily's hitting from outside too. So, you know, I think everything's just starting to click. Hopefully we can keep it there for the remainder of, you know, the season, these last 5 games, and then going into playoffs.
Well, I was just going to say, it looks, I mean, obviously every year there's going to be, you know, players leave with graduation, so it's a process of teams getting comfortable. It definitely looks like everyone on the court, no matter what 5 players you put out there, knows where the other 4 is going to be, which I'm sure helps whenever, you know, your blood pressure on the sidelines, that you know that they know what they're doing.
Yeah, you know, it takes time, and we've talked a lot this year about, you know, we're young and inexperienced, and it's going to take game experience to get that, you know, cohesiveness amongst our whole team. So I think it's clicking. You know, our post players, you see right there, Sierra hitting an outside shot, Shatera's hitting outside shots. I think everybody just feels more confident, more comfortable with roles and with everybody on our team's role. So, you know, it seems to be we're in a good place, so hopefully we can stay there.
as you see California with an 18-point victory. A lot more comfortable margin of victory than the game in November. And that basically puts your team in the first place in the PSAC West because I believe IUP lost on Wednesday. So that game's in the rearview mirror, if I could talk. And then Saturday, no PSAC West game, but a non-conference game against Davis and Elkins. And if we had highlights, I'm not sure we could show them because it may not be safe for work because the final score is 100. I think it was 101 to 58, and that's just an awesome performance. That means everything is working.
Yeah, it was, last year when we went down to D&E, it was a pretty close game. We didn't play well, but much better this time around. Again, our defense was really, really impressive. We were trapping, we were being aggressive, we were getting steals, we were getting layups. So it's fun, I feel like, when you play like that.
Now, is it hard for a coaching staff or for the players whenever you're going through this grind, and it seems like it's been PSAC West teams for about the last maybe 2 months, really, to have that non-conference game? Is there any, I don't even know what I want to say. Is it like a relief, or is it just hard to kind of gear up for a team that,
Yeah, I think you just got to focus on yourselves, and I think that's what we tried to do. We want to get better ourselves. We're not worried about who we play. It was non-conference, but it was a game, so we didn't have practice. We got to go out and play somebody different. And just work on what we do. We want to be peaking at this time. So we kind of just focused on us more than, who our opponent was.
And how did their style play fit in with the PSAC? Are they a different team, and does that help if they did play a different style, especially as we're coming towards the end of the season and we're looking at, postseason?
Yeah, they played a ton of people. I think they played 15 people,
Oh, wow.
So there was a lot of subbing. They weren't very big, and we felt like we could pressure them. So I think it was good practice for us getting out, on the perimeter and really, really pressuring, working on our traps, working on, what we want to do every single day in practice. So I think it was good for us.
And definitely, anytime you see 100 points on the scoreboard, that's good. And I don't have it in front of me, but there's probably only a handful of times the past couple of years any schools have put up 100. So nice little feather in the cap.
I'd rather see the other team score 30 than I score 100, but I'll take it.
Well, obviously, if you're a defensive fan, who were you rooting for the Super Bowl? Was it Denver's defense or Carolina's offense? You didn't care?
Once the Steelers are out, I don't really.
Okay, that's the right answer.
I hardly even watched it.
Well, that ends the week with 2 wins, and now let's take a moment and look at the PSAC standings, both in the East and the West, and we see right there California on top, and you see we're at that time of the year now. There's 6 teams in. Teams have started to clinch PSAC playoff berths, and congratulations, California has clinched a PSAC berth. Of course, the seeding there's still a lot of seeding to be determined, but California, IUP, and Gannon, 1, 2, and 3. It looks like those 3 teams, you guys will be fighting right up until the end. And luckily, IUP is in the rearview mirror for the year.
Yeah.
For you guys.
We have some big ones coming up though, because typically you look at those and we've already played IUP twice. We still have Gannon, we still have Edinburgh, but we still have Mercyhurst, we still have Seton Hill, and we still have Slippery Rock. And any game this year, especially, I feel like any team can win. So there's a lot of games to be played.
Yeah, if you look at the right side with the overall records, some years you'll see teams, and you'll see it in the West because I know the East rather, Cheney hasn't been playing well, but there's not really any teams that you can go to sleep on. Everyone, like we said, Pitt Johnstown's last, but they've been in a lot of games recently.
Yeah, and you look at Mercyhurst, who's in the middle of the pack, and they beat IUP by 20 and then lost to Clarion the next game. So it's anybody on any given day can definitely win in the West, in the East, and the whole PSAC. So you really got to show up every single day. And I think everybody probably expected, those are the top 4 consistently every year. But I think more this year, the bottom has become consistent, and everybody has a chance.
And let's take a look now at the PSAC East just to keep tabs of what's going on. As we said, really, Cheney's had a bad year, but even Mansfield, if you look at their scores, they've given some teams some scares.
Yeah, they just beat someone. Bloom, I think.
I think it was either Bloom or East Stroudsburg, one of those 2.
Yeah, and again, up and down that side, you can go, and at any given day, Ship can lose, Westchester can lose. I think Westchester hasn't really lost since us, so they're on a pretty good streak right now. But same thing with Millersville and Bloom. Any day, I think it's going to be fun to watch down the end, these last 5 games, and then going into the playoffs.
Let's take a look at that's a great segue into this coming week. As always, the 2 games, and this actually it's pretty much the end of the rest of the regular season. It's hard to believe. But this week we'll concentrate on Slippery Rock. As you can see, 5:30 at home, so make sure shovel out, leave yourself enough time to get to the Convocation Center and cheer on the Vulcans at 5:30 on Wednesday, and then get in the car. It's going to be good weather. I'm promising that. Seton Hill is a nice, easy drive, about 40 minutes, 1 o'clock tip. We'll talk about Slippery Rock first. It doesn't seem like it's been too long ago that you played Slippery Rock.
Yeah, and Slippery Rock is a pretty talented team. Their record is not really indicative of how good they are. I know I say that a lot about a lot of teams, but it's not. They have 3 Division I transfers that play for them, and they can score. I think we can attack their defense, but offensively they're pretty good. When they're making shots, they're really good. When they're missing, I think that's when they lose most games. But they're a scary team because when they are on, they're definitely on.
Now, do they generate their offense from 3-point shots, perimeter shots, or is it more like your team defense leads to offense? And
no, they're pretty much an offensive team. I think they lead the West in 3-point percentage, but they don't take the most.
Okay.
They have the best percentage, but they have players that can play one-on-one, so they can take you off the bounce and kick it or get to the rim. So they're kind of dynamic. They have a couple post players, but their guard plays where they're really strong.
And that should be a good matchup because obviously your team has a lot of good guards. What was it that turned the tide against Slippery Rock whenever you guys played them a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I think that was the first game we made a little bit of a change. We took our post players and started guarding guards with our posts and started guarding their posts with our guards. So just kind of flip-flop positioning. I think Shater and Sierra give other teams' guards trouble because they're so long and athletic.
They're not really post players. I mean,
they can move. Yeah. So I think, that's the first game we started trying something different, started trying that, and I think it gave their guards a little bit of trouble. And I think we started clicking around that time, with our rotations, with our help side, with the things we're trying to do all year.
Well, as we mentioned, it's a very important matchup as we're coming down this stretch in the last 5 games. So 5:30, get to the Convocation Center. If you can't make it, you can watch online on calvulcans.com or listen to 91.9 FM WCAL. You can also listen to it online on their web app. Now, I know you don't like to look ahead, but for the purposes of TV, the second game this week is at Seton Hill. And I was at that game doing radio for the first time at the Convocation. So that was a weird game because California was up, and then it seemed like Seton Hill just chipped away. And they've had a knack last couple of years of just being that rock in the shoe.
Not a weird game, a bad game.
I didn't want anything thrown at me.
No, it was terrible. We were up, I think, double digits in the fourth quarter, and they came back, sent it to overtime at the buzzer with a 3. So you obviously can look back at that game and say, well, if we would have got that rebound, game's over, we win. If this, if that. So I think we have something to prove going into Saturday. I feel like we think we should have beat them the first time. We didn't prove that. And I think going there, it's a tough place to play. It's the same as a Clarion or a Slippery Rock. You go there and they give you a game every single time. So, but I think, like I said, we have something to prove. We want to go there and we can't lose to them twice in a year.
Well, that gym always reminds me a little bit also, you said, of Clarion, but also a little bit of Lock Haven, where it's just so unique because it's such a small gym and it seems like there's light everywhere because the windows are on, I think, 3.5 sides.
It's a very strange color. You go there and it's kind of yellowish from the paint, I guess, on the walls. I don't know. But it is similar, I would say, to Lock Haven.
Now, what do they do well and what do they kind of struggle against? What can you take advantage of?
Yeah, Seton Hill shoots the ball. They shoot a lot of threes and they shoot it pretty well. Another team that, if they're hot, they're hot. We saw that here. I think we can take advantage of their defense. I think we're more athletic. I think we can offensive rebound. Not against just them, but pretty much anybody in our conference. I would take us offensive rebounding. So, use our athleticism, go by them. We have one of the best point guards in the country. I think we need to take advantage of that, go by, kick to our shooters who are making shots now.
Well, as we mentioned, it's 1 o'clock this Saturday at Seton Hill. Greensburg, like I said, it's a nice, easy drive. And that game on Saturday is the first of pretty much a 3-game road stretch for your team. Is that hard this time of year, just constantly going on the road, coming back, going on the road, coming back?
Yeah, I think you get used to it by this time. And I think by this time you're so focused on what you need to do that home or away doesn't really matter. I think the ones up to Erie might be a little tougher.
I was gonna say, yeah, they didn't do any favors.
Pretty close, but Erie twice in a week I think it's going to be tougher than, Seton Hill. But it's what you got to do. It's your schedule. You got to play it. So, kind of just focus on, hey, we need these games for the PSAC playoffs. We need these games if we want to make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I can't remember since they've been in the conference if we've had to make that trip twice back-to-back. Maybe end of the regular season into a playoff situation, but I don't think anything's scheduled.
No, I don't think in the regular season. Like you said, I think we might have had to play Gannon and then go back to Gannon for the playoffs, but nothing scheduled regular season.
Well, make sure to get your gas in the tank and everything and follow the Vulcans. We're coming down to crunch time, 5 games left in the regular season, then PSAC playoffs and beyond, but instead of looking ahead too far, let's look ahead to this week. Come on out, follow the Vulcans. Like I said, Slippery Rock Wednesday at 5:30 in the Convocation Center, and then on the road Saturday at 1 o'clock. Coach, thanks for braving the weather today, and hope to see everyone in the stands this week. You've been watching the Jess Strom Show here on CUTV, and we'll see you next week.